Understanding and focusing the divorcing brain. First, let's talk about the challenges and rewards of working with divorcing clients. What do you experience as the challenges, and what do you experience as the reward? The challenges of working with divorcing clients are that they're highly emotional, they can have intense anger, intense sadness. These can be extremely rational people that are behaving irrationally. There can be vengefulness and indecision. But there are many rewards. The rewards of working with divorcing clients. The definition of a crisis is that it's an emotionally significant event or radical change of status in a person's life, such as a midlife crisis. It can be the decisive moment, such as in a literary plot. The Chinese use 2 brush strokes to write the word crisis. One brush stroke stands for danger, the other opportunity. In a crisis, be aware of the danger and recognize the opportunity. That's a Kennedy quote. It turns out that his speechwriters didn't have the most accurate interpretation of those 2 Chinese symbols, but we're going to go with this one for today. The research on happiness says that the happiest people are happily married, the least happy group is unhappily married, and in the middle are people that are single. The rewards of helping people move from feeling unhappy, hopeless, and stuck to having a more fulfilling life are one of the major rewards of working with a divorcing population. It's helping people turn that crisis into the opportunity for growth that Kennedy alludes to. So let's talk about your client's brain, their decision-making process, their thoughts, and what gets in their way during a divorce. When a person confronts something physically or emotionally dangerous, their amygdala, which is an almond-shaped organ in the middle of their brain, interprets the situation. It's good to know that the amygdala is very primitive. If the amygdala decides the situation is dangerous, it activates fight or flight. The amygdala then releases the hormones of cortisol and adrenaline to prepare for action. Those 2 hormones cause the neurons in the hippocampus to shrivel up. And the hippocampus is very involved in rational thought. Ergo, the ability to think rationally is put on hold. People's behaviors when they're in fight or flight, they're impulsive, they're irritable, they're anxious. They can be jittery, aggressive, or argumentative. They can withdraw socially and do numbing behaviors like watching TV, overeating or undereating, abuse drugs or alcohol. There can be no motivation, and they can see neutral situations as hostile. Your client's decisions during a divorce. This is Prochaska and DiClemente's Stages of Change model. In the first stage, pre-contemplation, there is no problem. In the contemplation phase, which comes next, there's a problem that I might work on someday. The next phase is determination, where somebody decides there is a problem and they know when they're going to work on it. After that, they can move to the action phase, where there's a problem that they're presently working on. And from there, they can move to maintenance or even a termination phase. Divorcing clients are going through these stages of the change process. Some stages are a fit for the legal process and some aren't. Some clients may come to a lawyer prior to being ready to engage in the legal process. They may be more in the pre-contemplation and contemplation stages of change. Your client's thoughts during divorce. Your client's thoughts during divorce. They tend to think things like, this is a mistake, I'm going to be alone forever, I didn't try hard enough, I'm a failure, I can't raise my kids alone, I can't afford to live on my own, I'll lose my home, who will I grow old with, I'll lose friends, I love him or her and I hate him or her, and get away from me, where are you? Your client's emotional barriers to a divorce. What gets in the way of them making these changes? Economics are a big one. Circumstances such as children, interwoven lives, extended families, fear of changes, and the fear that the changes are too complicated, and the fears that the changes won't make somebody happier. So here are some skills to help your clients' brains, thoughts, decisions, and to move past barriers to divorcing. One thing to think about is what already works for you. Marshall and Rosenberg write in Nonviolent Communication that when we try to help, we often advise, console, or correct. But at first, it really helps to hear their story on their terms. When we're paying attention to another person's behavior, facial expressions, body gestures, and tone of voice, mirror neurons fire in our brain. Through some complex brain processes, this helps to calm us down. In other words, when somebody else is calm, it really helps us to be calm. Another great skill is called empathetic reflection. This is how parents calm children down, and we calm down people we care about. You can bond with your client by restating their feelings in a calm and respectful manner. That means more listening than talking, restating and clarifying what the other person has said, letting go of asking questions or telling somebody what they feel, believe, or want. Instead, it's trying to understand the feelings contained in what the other is saying, not just the facts or ideas. Empathetic reflection. You want to show people you respect and hear their experience by saying things like, what you're saying is, if I understand you correctly, it's as though you were saying, you feel, you often feel that, you seem to me. Using empathetic reflection can help calm down escalated clients. It helps the amygdala to calm down and the brain to realize that they are safe. Once that happens, your client's rational brain will re-engage and he or she will be more able to make decisions. Skills to help your clients' decisions during divorce. This is from Miller and Rolnick's book, Motivational Interviewing. People make changes when they're willing, they feel ready, and they think the change is important. Skills to help your clients' decisions during divorce. If your client is more in the contemplation and preparation stage, and you would like to help them move towards action, ask some of these questions. Here's some questions about readiness. Is the change important? Why is now a difficult time? Why is now a good time? What could make you feel more ready for this? Who could help you to be more ready for this? Ability. What makes you think you can't change, and what makes you think that you can? What skills do you have from changes that you've made in the past? Importance. Why is change important to you? What makes it less important? What increases its importance? Skills to help your clients' thoughts during divorce. Cognitive therapy is based on the idea that your thoughts lead to your feelings and that leads to your behaviors. So it turns out that if one can shift their thinking, they can feel differently about a situation and make different choices. We all engage in thoughts that are called automatic negative thoughts, and sometimes we have them so quickly we don't even realize it. Even if there's some truth to the negative thinking, the thinker could be exaggerating the possible negative outcomes. Your divorcing clients are imagining a lot of negative outcomes. Worried, sad, and angry people tend to engage in the following types of distorted thinking patterns identified by doctors Aaron Beck and David Burns. If you can help your client to see how extreme the thoughts are, you can help them become more rational and make decisions. Here are some of the major types of distorted thinking. All or nothing, black and white thinking. We think that we have to be perfect or we're a total failure. There's no middle ground. Another one is yes, but, or disqualifying the positive thinking. We take out the negative details and magnify them while filtering out or ignoring all the positive aspects of a situation. Another big one for divorcing individuals is catastrophizing. They think that disaster will strike no matter what, and that the outcome of the event will be awful and unbearable. The types of thoughts that your clients are having are, this is a mistake. And a helpful response can be, well, in what ways is it a mistake? And in what ways is it the best course of action? When they think that they're going to be alone forever, you can say things like, is there evidence for that? Have you ever known somebody that was divorced and met somebody else? If your clients say things like, I didn't try hard enough, a helpful response is, in what ways could you have tried harder, and in what ways did you try hard enough? Another common thought is, I'm a failure. And a helpful response is, in what ways do you think you are a failure, and in what ways do you think that you're not a failure, but that the end of the marriage could lead you to a more positive life? Skills to help your clients overcome barriers during divorce. Help your clients to articulate their fears. Sometimes people need to hear themselves talk it out and realize the negative outcomes aren't as large as they think. Common clients and finding ways to help. Which of the previous skills could help each of these clients? The client that says, I don't want this. They feel the divorce was put upon them and they don't want it. The client that says, I'm not sure. They want a divorce and then they don't. They want a divorce and then they don't. They can't pick a direction. The client that says, I deserve more because he or she hurt me. This client is angry and hurt. And the client that says, I can't take this. The client that cries and cries and cries and cries and seems overwhelmed with sadness and can't focus on the legal tasks.